Tom Swarbrick on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
5:35 the time. Matt, I'll come to your call in just a few moments. First,
we're actually talking to the right people, and they want to make a deal so badly. You have no idea how badly they want to make a deal.
I don't think that badly, or certainly not badly enough to accept a 15-point plan to end the war that was put to Iran by the United States. Iran's state broadcaster saying a senior political security official in the government has rejected a US proposal aimed at ending the current war. The official in question here hasn't been named, but the reports say that Iran, or the official says that Iran will end the war when it decides to do so and when its conditions are met. Iranian officials have repeatedly said they want a complete end to the war, not just a ceasefire, and they also have said repeatedly that they aren't in conversations with the United States of America, as Donald Trump suggests they are. Simon Marks is LBC's Washington correspondent. Thanks for coming on, Simon. We finally got sight of this 15-point plan. Is it even worth going through if the Iranians have already said no?
Well, let me tell you that I've also just got sight here, Tom, of a photograph that has been sent to me by a colleague in San Francisco, which shows that the price of petrol at his local filling station there has now risen to $7.49 a gallon. So consider that while we consider this 15-point plan, which, if the reporting of its details, as has been released by a pro-Netanyahu Israeli television channel, is correct, calls for all sorts of things that raise fresh questions about President Trump's credibility, including the destruction, complete and total, of 3 nuclear sites that President Trump, of course, claims had already been completely and totally destroyed in last summer's Operation Midnight Hammer. It also calls for Iran to hand over its stockpile of enriched uranium. That'll be the same enriched uranium that the president says was destroyed last summer in Operation Midnight Hammer. He completely rejected out of hand at the time any suggestion that Iran had been able to squirrel some of that enriched uranium away and hidden it before those bunker-busting bombs rained down on its nuclear sites. The document also calls for the International Atomic Energy Agency to have full transparency over Iran's activities, which, of course, the IAEA had before Donald Trump pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal during his first term in office. So all of this, or many of the points contained in this plan, only, I think, raise fresh questions about precisely what the US government is up to. They call for the Strait of Hormuz to be turned into some kind of free maritime zone. The response to that today has come from an Iranian military spokesman who says Iran will determine who is allowed to pass through the strategic waterway. The authority to issue passage permits is ours. So they certainly appear to be rejecting that part of the plan as a non-starter, and it seems the rest of it is also getting a major Iranian thumbs down.
Why then has Trump moved, or at least the orders have been given, for thousands of troops to go from the United States to that region?
Well, I mean, I think that is a huge question. I mean, partly because, of course, he wants to demonstrate that he's still willing to take additional military action and, if necessary, to escalate the conflict, even as he's waiting for the Iranians to get back to the United States in these negotiations. It's obviously a pressure point, but it may be about a lot more than that, because the fact that paratroops are now going from the 82nd Airborne Division, I mean, these are the guys that throw themselves out of planes and land on enemy terrain, has boosted here speculation that the president is planning some kind of ground offensive, which would be a major escalation, something that the United States public is very much not being prepared for by the government. But, you know, why would you be sending thousands of paratroopers to the region if you didn't plan at some point to use them to do what they are trained to do, and that is ground combat?
Can I draw your attention, Simon, whilst I have you, to a matter that has just emerged from a court in Los Angeles, the County Superior Court in Los Angeles, might just have delivered via its jury there a pretty astonishing ruling that could have massive implications for some very, very big companies. The headline is this: Meta and Google have been found liable for social media addiction. The case is of a 20-year-old woman who said her early use of social media made her addicted and her depression worse. This case include Snapchat and TikTok. They were defendants in the trial, but both settled with the plaintiff before it began. Those terms of agreement haven't been disclosed. But Meta and YouTube, so Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, which is owned by Google, have been found to have been liable, or at least involved in the social media addiction of this 20-year-old woman, which led to her depression worsening. This could be a very big moment.
Yes, it is a big moment. And just looking at our screens here in the Washington office, all the US news channels are currently showing the live images of the steps of the courthouse where lawyers are expected to emerge over the course of the next few minutes. I mean, essentially what's taken place here is that the jury's decision validates a legal theory that had not previously been tested in court that says social media sites and apps can cause personal injury. Meta and YouTube are going to have to pay $3 million in compensatory damages for pain and suffering. Meta is going to be responsible for 70% of those damages, and YouTube for the rest of it. But there are going to be more damages to come because the jury now has to deliberate what further punitive damages the companies should be paying for malice and fraud. And this is just one of thousands of cases where people have complained that the addictive nature of the products that, in this case, Google and Meta are putting into the public domain have the capacity to cause personal injury among users of those products. So a landmark ruling in Los Angeles, and one, I think, with a very long tail that will cause concern in the corridors of power at Google, Meta and the other big tech companies.
Simon, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Simon Marks is LBC's Washington correspondent.